Hey, dumbass. Let's talk. Perfect shirt to discuss Negan, I feel like. Anyway, you can find a shirt at The Walking Fans. Just throwing that in there. I know I'm going to get a lot of people asking, but this is the Hey Dumbass they have. I'll find you. It's thewalkingfans.com. With that said, let's discuss Negan's backstory on the TV show, and we will also touch on his backstory in the comic. Now, here's the difference. The backstory on the TV show is what I'm predicting, and I'm using the material kind of paying homage to what we know of in the comic. So the comic book stuff is going to be factual. Now, when we get to that, I will give you another spoiler warning in case you don't want to hear the exact details, because we will kind of cover that a little bit. As far as if you want to know when we're going to see his backstory, I do believe they're going to wait, or I shouldn't say they're going to wait, but yeah, what the hell. I think they're going to wait until maybe Season 8 or maybe even Season 9 to touch on Negan's backstory, and I'm only saying that because of the story flow. Right now, you don't really want to humanize Negan. You want him to appear as a villain. You don't want us feeling any type of sympathy for him at all. Now, with that said, we are also just now reading the story in the comic book, and we still have another like 16 pages waiting to be released over the next 4 months, something like that. Now, back it up with my prediction, and I am pulling somewhat from the comic book. I'm going to pay homage to it, but if you are in love with the comic book story right now, you probably won't like this prediction. But I do want to keep the teacher aspect. I do want to keep that characteristic of Negan where he doesn't feel like a character who purposefully goes and, you know, creates this giant organization. He feels like a character that is floating around, and it's just a bunch of circumstances that puts him in this situation, and it's a number of events that gives him the idea that there's strength in numbers, and he needs to lead because these guys are just fucking up, right? That's the kind of feel I got. So I'm going to incorporate that into the backstory where we have Negan as a gym teacher. He has a wife and a mistress. Keep all that, that's fine. I'm not going to give you the details. You can put details if you want, and then put that information in the comment box, and maybe it'll be a good read for us. Now, let's keep his wife getting cancer. That's all great. But except, instead of her dying, I would like on a TV show for his wife to continue on. For his wife and him, he leaves his mistress. He's just more active in their relationship. He's always around, never leaves her side, and he's by her side the entire time they fight the cancer, and it's looking really rough in the very beginning. You know, he might lose her, and then finally they won. They beat the cancer. I think that's such a nice little twist for comic fans, even for TV show fans that might hear of what's going on with the comics. So she beats the cancer, and it's such an epic thing, and maybe they get the final results in the hospital, and it's such a glorious moment, and then there's some noise outside. Maybe a car hits, or there's an explosion, people screaming, and that's when a part of the outbreak starts. So through this whole time, Negan's protecting his wife. Maybe they run into a couple people who, like a kid, right, in the hospital. Negan's wife is like, oh, Negan, that kid, he's going to get whatever. And Negan goes over, saves him, and then they make it to a parking garage, and when Negan turns his back, the kid gets bitten. His wife seems like she just wants to help, but you keep putting Negan in this position where he is very protective of his wife, and he seems like everyone else is good company, but it's like, oh, you died, okay, whatever. Long story short, they run into a couple survivors along the lines, and they eventually run into a mini little group, and this group has a leader, and Negan doesn't even buck back. Now, he makes some comments. You know, Negan always has those jokes, there's those smart-ass responses, and there's some decisions that are made where Negan's like, that is the wrong choice. Obviously, that's a dumb thing to do. You should be doing this instead. And the leader has a big ego, really cocky guy. You can even make him a big guy, so it seems like even if they went head-to-head, maybe Negan wouldn't make it out of this. You know, make it a big alpha male type dude. So anyway, long story short, the leader does something, makes a stupid call. Negan says it's a dumb call, and in the end, it gets his wife killed. So here you have his wife, who they beat the cancer together. He stayed by her side the entire time, and then after the fact, the society crumbled. He took his wife out into the world. He actually followed somebody else's lead, even though they were making the wrong decisions. Negan bucked back, and then at this point in time, this is where Negan maybe even lined a guy up and beat him with a baseball bat. Maybe he talked about the guy's punishment while he was tied up on his knees, and there's a couple other survivors. As Negan's wrapping the barbed wire around the baseball bat, telling the guy what a dumb piece of shit, telling him how Lucille would be alive if he wasn't such a moron, and then Negan could even blame himself somewhat as he's wrapping a barbed wire. Like, maybe if I just, was more confident or believed in myself more, maybe she would be alive. Like, build to this story, flesh it out, add to that moment, that horrific moment where he gets the barbed wire all tied up, staples it down, whatever you need to do to make it realistic in that moment, and then he beats the guy to death in front of everyone. So that guy who got Negan's wife killed, making a dumb decision, which was their old leader, the original leader of the Saviors, make some remix like that, that guy is now the first Lucille victim, and with Lucille's physical passing, his wife dying right at the moment where he creates Lucille as a bat, I think it gives it that powerful transformation that we need for that character. I fucking love that idea so much. So, okay, he beats the guy to death, and this is where he makes the decision to lead. But he's not going to pussyfoot around. He is not pulling any punches. You're going to do what he says, or you're going to die, or you're going to get punished, one way or the other. So they come across different scenarios where they find the factory, they start posting up. One guy does something, and then he gets the idea to burn his face with the iron just because he sees it there. You can build to this story. You can even do something where he's in the factory. Yeah, he's in the factory for the first time, right? After all the shit, he's become Negan and Lucille, and there's only a handful of them, let's say 12 saviors at this point in time. Bear with me because I'm literally thinking this up on the spot. So there's some moments where I feel like I want to drift off and think and polish the idea more, but I just gotta fight that urge and just get this spit out. But let's say they find the factory, there's only like 12 of them, and Negan starts giving this speech on how they're going to survive, they're going to do it together. As he's given this epic speech, you see more saviors appearing, as if this is not one speech he's given. He's giving a similar speech. Maybe he polishes it every now and then, fitting the mood, fitting the time, fitting what happens. And as he's given the speech, the saviors grow and grow and grow and grow, and he finally gets to the end of the speech, and this is fantastic. I just thought of this. The beginning of the speech can be the very first time he finds the factory, right? So it fits that time of them sticking together. But by the end of the speech, he's actually talking about the outpost being hit and how they're going to survive, and they're going to go punish those who did it, and they're going to pull them in, and we're going to grow, we're going to absorb them and grow our ranks and yada yada yada. So then we realize the beginning was the formation of the saviors at the sanctuary, the beginning of his speech, and the end of his speech was talking about getting revenge on Rick and gang at Alexandria. Maybe even Simon could come up, because again, this is for the TV show. Since this is for the show, you have Simon come up and say something about the roadblocks are in place, we're going to get the last of the guys in the library, something like that. So it pieces it together, and it's just like done. Oh, I love that. I fucking love that. Okay, you know what? Some of that might need some polish work when you come up with these ideas, like especially on the spot. Then you got to sit back and go, okay, what fits in the world that they already built? Okay, what was a great idea? Where was it weak? Okay, it was weak right here. Let's add more to this story. So writing is rewriting, and that's absolutely the truth, because 9 times out of 10, the very first thing you say, like right now, this is the very first thing I'm saying on this. I just had the idea of, before I recorded this video, this is where my mind was, his wife getting cancer and beating it. That's when I was like, I'm going to record this video. I sat down, and as I'm recording it, I'm thinking about this whole story. So keep in mind, please go easy on me. I would have to, if I was seriously writing this, I would have to go back and repolish and rewrite, maybe move some things around, maybe look at the story from the TV show and add more things, and maybe even cut some stuff altogether. But that is an idea that I am, at this time, I'm in love with it. This is like my Dwight pre-burn face moment. This is what I'm kind of hoping for with Negan's backstory on the TV show. I am really in love with the story. Let me know what you think. I love it. But if you want to know what happens in the comic, it's basically his wife gets cancer, she dies, and then he goes out into the world and he runs into a group of guys, and the guy has a baseball bat. That's literally all we've seen so far. Now, I'm shortening that. There's a lot of different cool things that happen. I really do like the story they're building up, and here's Negan. I'm shortening that because we haven't got a lot of gut punches. The only gut punch we got, Lucille was named after his dead wife. That's basically what we got in the comic, and again, we didn't get any huge major reveal or dun moment, because we still have 16 more pages to go of the comic. We have no idea if they're going to skip any time and put us towards Negan meeting Rick and gang. We don't know if they're going to do that. We don't know how well they're going to flesh out building the saviors and everything. And now I'm distracted because I just realized the camera, I must have bumped it down when I went to hit record, because now it's like chopping off the top of my head. And I'm wondering if I was talking this whole time, if my head was just chopped off. Holy hell. Listen, there's no way I'm going to be able to re-record what I just said. So, if this video is framed in a really shit way, I'm sorry. Hey, dumbass, leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment box. What do you think of my idea for Negan and Lucille's origin story for the TV show? I love it right now, but later I might not. So that's usually how it works. Thoughts and opinions in the comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn. Subscribe now.